In this video, we're going to be working on dividing by 10, 100, and 1000. And first of all, the first thing we need to do is think about dividing, and we're getting smaller. When you divide something up, you start with something big, you divide it into smaller equal portions. So dividing, you're getting smaller. Now, first of all, I want you to say to yourself, I'm not afraid to divide. Let the fear of division go away. We don't need to worry about it. We can do this, especially if you know your multiplication facts. We can figure out division, and you can do it. So we'll start with the most basic, which is dividing a number by 10, dividing it by 100, and dividing it by 1,000. Okay, so let's start with the one I have on the board, 670 divided by 10. And what I like to do is kind of reduce or simplify it. Now, if I do something to this number, I have to do the same thing to this number. And I see that both have a 0 in the ones place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross out that 0. And 67 divided by 1 is the same as 670 divided by 10. It will give us the same number because we're just taking away the same exact thing. Okay? So now, 67 divided by 1, much easier. I'm going to take 67 items, divide them one way, I have 67. So, 670 divided by 10 equals 67. What you're doing when you multiply something by 10, you're taking it into the next highest place value. When you're dividing by 10, you're taking it into the next lower place value. So, let me show you. 670 times 10 equals, now multiplication, you're getting bigger. So I'm taking the 670 times it by 10, so I'm going one place value higher. So I'm not going to be in the I'm not going to be in the hundreds anymore, I'm going to be in the thousands. So I go from this hundreds to thousands. I have my 67 times 1, and then I have to add a 0. Okay, so the 67 times 1 is the 67, and I got the 0 there. And then, so that 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros in my comma. So 670 times 10 gets me to 6,700. I went into the bigger place value. But if I'm dividing by 10, I'm going smaller. I'm going from the hundreds to the tens, which is what I got right here. 670 divided by 10 takes me to 67. And I like to check things. With division, whenever you get your answer, 670 divided by 10 equals 67, you can flip it, multiply your answer by what you divided it by, and see if you get what you started with. So 67 times 10 equals, and it's 0, 0. I go to my next place value, 7, 6. I add them up. I get 670, what I started with. All right. Let's do another one. Now I have 430 divided by 10. So I know I'm dividing it by 10, so I'm going into the lower place value. I'm not going to be in the hundreds, I'm going to be in the tens. And I see that each of these numbers has a 0 in the ones place. And because that's the case, I can get rid of them. So I'm going to drop that, and now I have 43 divided by 1 equals 43. So 430 divided by 10 gives me 43. And then I can check it, because I want to make sure that I can get back to this 430 from here times 10. So 43 times 10, well, it's 43 times 1, it's 43, and my 1 0, my 1 0, 430 divided by 10 equals 43. Okay? So if you have zeros in the 10's, or if you have 0 in the 1's, you can get rid of them and then do it. It makes it so much easier. It simplifies it, it reduces it, but yet it keeps it the same, so you're going to get the correct answer. Okay, let's move to the 100's. Let's try that. Let's do 7,700 divided by 100 and see what that equals. Now, first thing I do is I look at starting with the 1's place value, and I see a 0 in the 1's. So I'm going to take that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. If I take rid of the 0 in one number in the 1's, I have to do it in the other number. Okay, got to be fair. Now, I see one also in that place value in the 10's. But if I take, and this has a 0 too. So if there's a 0 in both these, I'm getting rid of my 1 0, my 1 0, my 10 0, oops, my 10 0. Okay? So now I'm down to 77 divided by 1. I take 77 items, divide them one way, I'm left with 77. Okay? So let me rewrite this. 7,700 divided by 100 equals, I think it equals 77. Okay? But I want to check it. I want to make sure. So I'm going to take this number times this number. So I'm going to take 77 times 100. And if that gets me this number, then I am good to go. Okay? So let's do it. 77 times 1, 77. 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2, 3, comma, 7,700, and I have done it correctly. So I got rid of the zeros in the 10's and in the 1's because they both were zeros. So it's easy, you can simplify it that way. Okay, let's go to 1000's. And hopefully you're seeing a little bit of a pattern here. And when there are zeros, it's pretty easy, and especially with a 1. So when it's divided by 10, divided by 100, or divided by 1,000, you can reduce, and it makes it so much simpler. So let's do 415,000 divided by 1,000. So I'm going to take 415 items, divide them 1,000 different ways. And how many equal parts will I get? How many are going to be in that 1,000 equal parts? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I see they each have a 0 in the 1's place. Get rid of it. 0 in the 10's place. That's nice. So now I'm down to 4,150 divided by 10. But I also see a 0 in each number in the 100's place. Okay? And I can't, if I couldn't cross off these, if these were different numbers, I couldn't go further. You can only keep going as long as you can cross out this one. If you can cross out this one, check the next. If you can cross out this one, check the next. This is a 1 and a 5. I can't do it. But if I couldn't, if these were different and I couldn't cross them off, I couldn't go and do these numbers at all. You can only start with the 1's, and if the 1's work, you do the 10's. If the 1's and the 10's work, then you go to the 100's. Okay, but don't just, you can't skip around. you have to go in order, starting with the zero, the ones, and then the tens, and then the hundreds. Okay? So for this number it worked, and now I'm down to 415 divided by 1. Much more simple than 415,000 divided 1,000 ways. This is 415 divided one way. That I know how to do. 415. But I want to make sure that 415,000 divided by 1,000 equals 415. And if this is a true statement, the only way I can test it is to say 415 times 1,000 needs to equal this. Okay, so let's try it. 415 times 1,000 equals. So I got my 415 times 1, 415, and then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 zeros, and I put my comma there. 415 times 1,000 equals 415,000, which is what I started with over here. 415,000 divided by 1,000 gets me 415. And it makes it so much simpler when you can cross out zeros from each number, starting with the ones to the tens to the hundreds. Okay, now, that's if it's divided by 10, or divided by 100, or divided by 1,000. Now, what if we have a number divided by more than 110, or more than 100, or more than 1,000? So let's do that. Let's do 360 divided by, not by 10, but let's divide it by 40, okay? And we'll see what we get there. So now we're going to take 360 things, divide them 40 different ways, and see how many we have in each pile. What I want to do is, just like with when it's divided by 10, I'm going to look at the ones place. And I see that there's 0 here in each of the ones place. I can cross it out. In the tens place, that's a 4. Oh, not even a 0. I can't even think about it. Don't even want to go there. So now, here's what I'm left with. Divided by 4. So, I can do this. I can tell myself 4 goes into 36 how many times? Or 4 times what equals 36? And I know that it is 9. So 4 times 9 is 36. And so over here, 36 divided by 4 gets me to 9. Now let's go back to the original problem. 360 divided by 40 equals, now there's a lot of zeros here and things. A part of me wants to say 9, that doesn't seem right. It should be 90. But when I reduced it, I got 9. So I want to stick with that. I want to check to make sure I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm going to get the wrong answer and then I'll have to redo it. So I'm going to take this times this, and it should give me this. So let's try it. 40 times 9. I know that 4 times 9 is 36, and I have 1 0, and I get 360. I did it right. I got the correct answer, and I double-checked it by doing this. So 360 divided by 40 is 9. All right, that was just similar to the tens. You just reduced, and then you get it down to a basic fact, and then you can figure it out. All right, let's go a little bigger. Let's go into the hundreds. Instead of having just 100, let's have more than 100. I know this is getting crazy and wild. All right, so let's do 81,000 divided by, not just 100, we can do that. Let's do 900. So we have 900s. All right, cool. This will be fun. All right, first thing I do, like with the other ones, I start with my ones place value. I look at the numbers. I see a 0 in the ones. 0 on that one, 0 on that one. Excellent, I can get rid of those. Then I look at my 10's place, and I see I have a 0 there and a 0 there. I look at my 100's place, I see I'm done. Can't go any further, I gotta have zeros. Okay, so now I have 810 divided by 9 equals what? Okay, now I'm not sure about this one. This is going to be a little bit more tricky. I could go 81 divided by 9 gives me 9, and then I have to put my 0 here. So it's 90. That's one way. The other way I could do it is do a division problem. 810, set it up like this, 9, and then figure it out. 9 goes into 8, it doesn't go in there at all. So now I have to go to this number. 9 goes into 81, 9 times. 9 times 9 is 81. I subtract that, I get 0. I bring my 0 down, and because I still have one more place value here, I have to say, how many times does 9 go into 0? Goes in there 0 times. 9 times 0 gets me 0. And there's nothing left to come down. 90. Okay? So I got the same both ways. Here's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that 81,000 divided by 900, which is the original problem I started with up here before I crossed out some numbers. This is going to get me to 90. That's what I'm suggesting. I reduced it, I brought it down here, I tried it over here, but the final check is to multiply it and to see if I did it correct. Okay? So now I'm going to take my 900 times 90, and I'm going to see what I get. So I do 9 times 9, that gets me 81 because I know my little facts. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and my 3 zeros, 81,000. That's what I needed. So 81,000 divided by 900 equals 90. Seems like it should be a bigger number. Seems like 81,000, that's a ton. And you're dividing it 900 ways, not too many ways, but 90 is what you get. And you've checked it by doing the multiplication. It's good to go. All right, let's go one step bigger. Let's go to the thousands, and not just 8,000, but let's do something divided by like 3,000. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this. Hopefully by now you're feeling a little better about division. The thing that makes division a little scary is if you don't know your basic multiplication facts. If you don't know those, division is going to be hard. So make sure you're always working on 6 times 7, 9 times 9, 4 times 8. You've got to know those basic facts. Okay, let's go to the thousands. I'm going to do 9,000 divided by 3,000. Okay, a couple of big numbers, but I want to make it simpler. So I do what I've done with the other numbers. I go to my ones, I see a 0 in the 1, yay. And then I look at my 10's and I see zeros, awesome. Got to do it to both numbers. If one number doesn't have a 0, you stop doing it. Now I go to my 100's, I see a 0 here and a 0 here, all good. All right, now the next number is a 3, done. Cannot go further, has to be a 0 in both at that point. So really, after crossing those out, 9,000 divided by 3,000 is basically 9 divided by 3. And that you can do because you know 3 times what equals 9? Well, 3 times 3 equals 9. You could even, no, I'm not even going to go, well, yeah. You could even go, take 9, 1, 2, 3, do your 3 circles, you take 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I divided my 9 up in 3 ways, and in each circle I get 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, I didn't need to go there, but thought I would. Okay, so let's go to the original problem. 9,000 divided by 3,000 equals, I'm suggesting it equals 3. Now, look at all these zeros. How can those two big numbers get me an answer of just 3? Doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it does. And let's check it. So I'm going to take this number times this number, should give me this number. 3,000 times 3 equals, well, 3 times 3 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we got it. 3,000 times 3 is 9,000. And so 9,000 divided by 3,000 equals 3. Okay, so that is how we divide by tens, hundreds, and thousands. Hopefully you feel a little bit better, have a little less fear of division, and are able to solve these problems. All right. Now remember, be a little kinder than is necessary to everyone you meet. And thanks for watching the video.